Schroeder.
And I'm Julio Zamora.
Hey, in our first segment, we're going to say goodbye to 2022 by confessing our own garden blunders, and we're going to just leave them all in the past.
A recent article in the Lancaster Farming News cited a University of Maryland study comparing the lifespan of honeybees today versus 1970. We'll tell you what's the buzz, and in our second segment.
Shortly, you'll be taking your Christmas tree out of your house. And now what? Julio and I will tell you how you can repurpose your tree in our third segment.
Just before Christmas, we discussed with you the winter solstice and marveled how the ancient world knew this date long before the calendars existed. A University of California study has made answers, and we'll tell you all about it in our fourth segment.
In our final segment of the year, Julio and I are going to share with you our New Year's resolutions. Listen in our final segment.
So stay tuned, and we'll be back in the garden right after these messages. Bloomers in the Garden is brought to you each week by Bloomers Home and Garden Center. Bloomers is an award-winning garden center just 20 minutes from Philadelphia. Bloomers has been providing expert advice turning brown thumbs green for over 30 years. At Bloomers, we want you to ask us every question, even if you think it's silly. We share information in a friendly, non-judgmental way that is meant to teach and spread the joy of gardening. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center in Washington Township, Gloucester County. For directions, go to bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden.
Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Fertilum's azalea and evergreen food plus systemic insecticide 915-3 contains 5 micronutrients which are designed for azaleas and evergreens to provide the proper nutrients and producing stunning green leaves and essential new growth while protecting the plant from damaging insects for up to 8 weeks. Fertilum's azalea and evergreen food contains 9% nitrogen for green growth, building bigger stems and leaves, 15% phosphorus for root growth and increased flower production, 13% potash to promote vigorous growth so plants are better able to resist disease and cold. The micronutrients are the icing on the cake to enhance further growth, strengthen, and beautify color. Tired of seeing your plants prematurely drop their leaves, the flowers disappear? Fertilum's Azalea Evergreen Food plus Systemic Insecticide 915-13 contains an easy-to-apply insecticide that keeps your azaleas and evergreens looking great all year long. Those hungry insects do not have a chance. Apply in spring before buds sprout and continue throughout the season as indicated on the label growing guide. Fertilum's Azalea and Evergreen Food plus Systemic Insecticide 915-13 with micronutrients is a must for the passionate azalea and evergreen grower to help produce that beautiful abundance of color and fantastic fragrance everyone will love. So next time you visit your favorite garden center, pick up Fertilum's Azalea and Evergreen Food plus Systemic and expect to have the best looking shrubs in the neighborhood. Neighbors Garden Center, Main Street, Hellertown, PA. Rhodes Garden, Delcab Pike, North Wales, Pennsylvania. Rourke Farm Supply, Elmer, New Jersey. You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. So, as you strive to be a better gardener, the more mistakes you make along the way, that'll make you a better gardener.
Yes.
There was a study done, and it said master gardeners never consider themselves master gardeners.
Yeah.
They were always students. You and I feel that way.
Oh, yeah, we do.
So
Mm-hmm.
I will reveal my own mistakes that happened this year.
Oh, really?
And most of these are things that I knew better. So I did a planting, and it was that we've talked about Danielle, that she's the project house.
yeah.
Her house is now the
Sure.
project house. I knew it was a wet area, but I so much wanted to have Mugo pines in that area. And Mugo pines, for those of you out there, it's a dwarf pine that's more compact. And this was a different variety than just straight Mugo. It was a dwarf Mugo. And the pines just don't like to have the, what people call wet feet.
Wet feet. Yeah.
Wet feet. It had wet feet, and it held on as best it could for about 2 months. And this September, I had to pull it out, kicking myself the whole way.
Man.
No, and what an idiot. You knew better. You knew better. How stupid are you? And that was, definitely a blunder.
A blunder,
A
yeah.
blunder.
A learning blunder.
That's right. All right. True confessions.
Right.
What about you?
Okay. Yeah. Well, one of my, really, I'd say, I always do this.
Oh, no.
I really have a hard time with spacing, especially in the
Right.
front. I like to, cram in stuff.
Garden center people like you.
Yeah, I know they do.
Yeah. Buy more plants.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking. When you're in there in the garden center, you're always going, "Oh, I like that. Oh, and I like that too, and I like that." So I have my space in the front, and of course, you want to make it look nice and full as quickly as possible.
That's right.
And so I'm not thinking about growth that much.
Now was this perennial? What did you plant?
Yeah, I planted basically blue spruce. I had a Mugo pine. Okay, I had Spirea.
Okay.
And what else did I have in there? Oh, I had another evergreen. I can't remember the name. It was a cypress.
Okay.
And I said, okay, I'm going to put these together, and it would look really good together.
Sure.
And I had them too close. And I'm telling you, and I didn't prune. That's
no.
another problem.
Yeah.
And so I.
Did Spirea outgrow the evergreens?
Yes, it did. It went right into them. It's like unbelievable. It didn't take long. So I had to, keep trimming it back, and it just, I had them too close, Len. It was just.
Did you lose something, or could you just transplant it?
No, I didn't transplant them. I took them all out. I'm redoing my whole section. This is a couple years back, so I'm redoing the whole side there of my yard.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm starting all over. It's a good start.
Now, this is where all of the daylilies were, right?
On that side, but more towards the front.
Okay.
More closer to the.
Why are you taking everything out? Because blue spruce. That's.
Oh, I know they're very.
That's like fancy schmancy.
I
That's
know
like,
it is.
Yeah,
I know. I'm just changing my whole style, the way it looks. You know how it is when you put on.
Yes, I do.
When you put on a new suit.
I sent Julio a video from Monty Don.
Oh,
Monty
yes,
Don,
you did.
And that the video was just a short segment on Violet, and Violet is a happy gardener, and it was just basically an interview. She just loved what she was doing. And what did she say? There's always room for one more. Because her husband was saying, you can't put any more in here.
That's
and
right.
she was like, yes, I can. There's always room.
No. There's no room for a path.
But just like you're doing, she said, I can always dig it up and move it.
Right, you could.
So,
yeah, my tree was pretty tall.
Yeah.
I couldn't remove that.
You couldn't transplant it.
No, I couldn't.
Well, I went and I planted a camellia.
Right.
And I planted a camellia, and it was beautiful. It's gorgeous, flowering like no other, great big pink flowers. Nobody saw it because no one is anywhere near that side of the house. Right. And that it's not even on the side. It was like behind, next to a chimney. Horticulturally, it fit.
Right.
It was like
good
right
place.
Plant, right spot. Mm-hmm. But as far as being something that could be enjoyed,
no. Just you, right?
Well, me, because I realized I was like, you idiot. What'd you put it there for? You need to put it out where people walk by it or where somebody is going to see it. And it was tucked in. It's a place where it's a least trafficked area. So I should have put something different and moved that camellia to where people walk, whether it's you have guests that walk up to the walkway to the house or, if it's in the back that you have, that's where the back door is, something like that.
Right.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
That was a mistake.
That was a mistake.
Yeah. I hear you.
Oh, well.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, another one of my blunders is hanging baskets, by the way.
Yeah.
I love the hanging baskets.
Right.
But, like watering it,
Yeah.
it's like, by the time the afternoon came,
Yeah.
it's like I watered it in the morning, right?
I got help with that.
Oh, you
I
did?
can help you with that.
Oh, you can help me with that?
All
Oh,
right.
thank you.
One,
Uh-huh.
okay, so you got to water it with the hose or you
With
have
the
to water?
hose, yeah.
All right. I set up a drip irrigation thing, and it's like spaghetti tubes
Uh-huh.
where I just ran that small little like 1/4-inch line
Right.
to it with the spaghetti tube. So all they
Okay.
really had to do is just turn on the spigot,
That's it.
and that's it.
Oh.
Okay, and that a lot of times I'd forget that I had it on, and we get watered for it would be monsoon season. But hey, you know how big those combo
Oh, yeah.
pots are that
Oh,
they
yeah.
like a lot of water.
They do like a low
you know.
Oh, yeah.
But then the other thing is
Uh-huh.
that was it a like plastic pot or did you have it in like a cocoa basket?
No, plastic pot.
Okay, that we have a saucer that actually encapsulates the pot. So where the drainage hole, it would drain into the saucer and hold the water in like 3/4 of the way up the pot.
Right.
So it could draw water from that spot and not dry out as much. I think a lot of people should be buying those just simply because it'll hold the water and it's like, it's irrigation where
Irrigation,
it's
yeah.
flood irrigation, same type of thing. So like you just said, so many times like when you have one of those plants and it's on the front porch,
That's right.
and the sun is out, and by the time you water it in the morning, by the time you get home at night, it's all drooped over.
Yeah.
Where one of the saucers, and it's made specifically for
For that.
like 10 and 12-inch hanging baskets.
Right.
Bingo.
There you go.
Problem
See that?
solved.
There you go.
Problem solved. Yeah. I did not put my second application of crabgrass control down like we implore you to do. And I now have the same amount of crabgrass that I had
Did you really?
years past, and I am really mad with myself. And the worst part is I come home, and now when I come home from work and I look and I was like, and I'm mad at myself.
Right.
Crabgrass has a right to grow,
right.
but if I
Take it
control it, subdue the earth, right?
Right.
That's what it's supposed to do.
Sure.
I need to subdue my crabgrass. This year, it doesn't have a chance,
No.
and I may kill the entire lawn
Oh, brother.
if I don't get this down right. So I need to get. You think about garden center guy that we're a little busy when that second
Oh, yeah.
application of crabgrass
That's
is supposed to
right.
go
Yeah, yeah.
down.
Yeah.
So don't make the mistake that I did. Remember, 2 applications of crabgrass. 2 applications of crabgrass.
That's right.
And that is not at the same time. You got to wait 6 weeks or so. But don't do what I did. Don't do what I did. Because, again, all those seeds that are dropped now, like are dropped in your soil, like the crabgrass is dead, that's there, but the little seeds are not. So they can germinate in the spring. When the forsythias bloom, they start to germinate about that time. But there still are backup seeds that are in the ground that may take longer, and that's what I hit. I hit those backup seeds where I stopped the first group, but I didn't get the second group.
Brutal.
Such a
Came in
dope.
again.
I can't. I mean,
It never-
every night I was like, crabgrass growing.
Yeah, right.
So and now it's like blatant because it turns a different color and it's all dead.
Sure.
It's like
I
a patchwork quilt of crabgrass in my lawn.
Kind of nice.
Yeah, no, it's not nice. No, it looks like zoysia.
know.
Yeah. Well,
Talk about zoysia.
We're not even going
my-
there.
Yeah, we're not even going. Well, let me tell you, Len, the zoysia great because you brought it up.
I'm
I was
sorry.
going to bring it up.
I know it's painful.
Folks, if you have zoysia grass, getting rid of it, like I'm trying to. In my backyard, I did it. One year I did a 10 by 10, okay, and I
Right.
wanted to have a vegetable garden there, right?
Right.
Well, in about a couple of years, everything, the zoysia's grass is taken over again, and I'm constantly like digging.
It's a battle.
It's a battle. It's
I'm
a
telling
tough
you.
battle.
I'm telling you.
So I just let it
That
go.
zoysia salesman went through Pittman,
Yes,
and he
he
went to
did.
every house.
He went to-
There's a lady of the house home, and he's just
That's right.
selling. He's selling zoysia plugs
Zoysia plugs, yeah.
because all your neighbors have it,
Oh, my neighbors have it.
and that even though you have a driveway between,
It doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's going to come back.
It is. It
And the
does.
only way to get it out is to literally, I don't even know if a sod cutter would work. Because if you took a sod cutter, it's going to leave roots in.
It
And
is.
that they go by runners.
Oh, they run all over. Yeah. It's
and,
a
and
constant.
the frustrating part about zoysia is that like it's brown for
Yeah.
most of the year
Right.
because it's a warm season grass that does not belong in this
our
northern area.
That's right.
And that,
So I had to go to raised beds.
it's with your vegetables?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
but you must have a killer vegetable garden.
I
though.
do.
Yeah.
I do.
So,
But anyway.
well, last but not least on my list is I ignored my pond. Basically, but you know what? After all the freeze and that things got warmer and thawed out, it's running.
Oh,
it looks
yeah.
good.
It looks good now,
It
right?
looks good. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
wow, it looks pretty good right now. But there are lots of leaves in it.
Yeah.
So
Tons.
again, I always say a pond is a septic tank. I need to put I need to put the autumn prep in there
Yeah.
and get it,
Right.
see if I can break down the solids. Again, like I said, pond is a septic tank.
right.
You need to treat it that way. Fish, don't overfeed your fish. And that yeah. Anyway,
It looks
I don't want
good.
to talk about it anymore. My fish are healthy. Everything's
Yeah,
fine.
everything's good. It's pretty.
But it's just like, whatever. All right. Do you have anything else?
No, I think we hit every
Yeah.
major topic here.
It's very sore for us. So
Yeah.
even us,
Yeah, even us guys, yeah.
we've got a radio show. I mean,
Yeah, that's right.
We're supposed to know what we're doing. There's sometimes we screw up.
Yeah, we do.
We get to bring you each week all of our wins. These are some of our losses. All right. We'll be back in the garden right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Some of our most frequent questions revolve around organic container gardening for houseplants, annuals, and of course, vegetables. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend organic potting soil is a lightweight soil mixture made with salmon, blueberry, lobster, and other composts, as well as calcium and chitin-rich lobster shells, sphagnum peat, perlite, and kelp meal. It is a great soil. And Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor organic potting soil is rich in organic material, creating lush, disease-resistant plants that require less watering, less feeding. Its rich, dark brown color provides the perfect balance between water retention and drainage needed for healthy plants. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend organic potting soil is available at these local retailers.
Staffers of Kissel Hill Home and Garden Store, Rorastown, Pennsylvania. Ashcombe Farm and Greenhouses, Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Pickering Valley Feed and Farm, Exton, Pennsylvania.
Your next houseplant is waiting for you in Bloomers Home and Garden Center's greenhouse. Bloomers recognizes that houseplant choices are as important to your interior decorating as the fabric on your couch. The right plant, paired with the perfect container, can bring a dynamic change to your home. A houseplant brings life to your world and connects your home's interior to the greater outdoors. Even a small succulent placed on your coffee table has a way of connecting your living room to the Amazon rainforest. How about an air plant in your kitchen? Looking for an indoor flowering plant to add color to your plant palette? Bloomers has a large revolving assortment of flowering beauties. From aglaonemas to ZZ plants, Bloomers Greenhouse is stocked with your next favorite indoor plant. Bloomers carries a large selection of pottery and containers to match your home's decor and make any of your plants more beautiful. Bloomers experts can help you care for your plants and have the fertilizer, insecticides, leaf shine, and specialty soils you need to grow healthy and happy indoor plants. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center's greenhouse and make every room in your home a living room. Visit bloomers.com for more information. That's bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden. You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Well, this is an amazing thing I'm going to say right now. Lifespan of bees has been reduced by 50%. Yep, you heard it, 50% since 1970. Wow. Pollinator gardens need to help these honeybees be more productive given their limited lifespan, huh, Len?
That's right. That's right. A University of Maryland controlled study shows bee population declining 50%. And this is concurred by beekeepers that the honey output has declined by roughly the same amount. This study focused on genetics, not environmental stressors, disease, parasites, pesticides, or nutrition. They would take a bee, let's say it's a pupa from the beehive. So this is before any of those stressors are on the bee. It hasn't gotten sprayed by anything. Right. It hasn't, and they do check. They were checking to see if there was an issue where it somehow was that it could have gotten sprayed or it could have gotten transferred from the worker bees somehow, that it got exposed to pesticides, and it did not. No. So they were collected from the hives 24 hours after emerging. So queen laid the egg, 24 hours, boom. So
quick.
That's right. They were kept in these special cages. And that, again, it was comparing it to a similar study that was done in the 70s. It has, it's amazing to think that I mean, we have been talking about bees, honeybees,
right,
all the time. It's imidacloprid. Imidacloprid's killing all the bees. Right. That's what we have to do. So any of the neonicotinoid insecticides have to be off the market. Yep. We were talking about hive collapse and the fact that there's the mite that is causing the hive collapse. And all of these things, but they're finding out that this is a genetic issue, right, not necessarily an outside environmental issue.
No, that's amazing. And
that they're going to continue to study this, and they're also going to compare their results to throughout so not just in the I guess the Maryland area or Chesapeake Bay area or what have you, that they're going to compare the results throughout the entire country and then throughout the world. Now, hive collapse is something that happens with bees. I've never seen it. I think it would be really cool to see. But if you ever seen a queen where a queen leaves the hive, and what happens is that a swarm of bees surround it, and to find a new place to start a new hive,
right?
It's something that does happen. It does normally happens, but the fact that we're losing bees 50% sooner means that they have to produce, and the weight on the hive to produce the amount of honey that to be productive. Again, it requires us to continue to plant pollinator gardens, so that the foraging time that the bees spend out of the hive, that they can be that much more productive. So not like searching all over the countryside to find enough to bring back to the hive. So they find it quicker,
easier access. Yeah.
So again, interesting study. Again, University of Maryland. And it was thank you, Lancaster Farming News.
Yes, really.
I get it.
Yep.
Lancaster Farming News, actually.
Yes,
two great articles in there. Yes, it is the size of the Sunday New York Times, and it's actually better reading.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, did I say that?
Yes, you did.
Anyway,
but you know what's interesting? We're always focusing about the environment,
right.
and all this. And
something's
this really
causing it.
Yes, something's causing this. But no, now we have something else that's kind of another myth buster, kind of, right?
In a way. In a way. I'm going to still wait for more results. I think that all of the things that we talked about, like the valerian mite, the pesticides, absolutely can affect a hive. But it used to, like, they thought that they had it triggered, that's it.
That's
what's causing it.
100%.
That's what's causing it. Right. Get that stuff off the market.
Yeah, we don't need
that. And it actually turns out that it's genetic componment as well.
How about that, huh?
More research is done.
So a little curve thrown at this.
Yeah. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this, and then we'll make sure that you all know of what the next step is. What else did they find? Because, again, food production.
Oh, it's huge.
Food production. And both crabgrass and your vegetable garden, when that flower is pollinated, that's where the fruit or your crabgrass seed comes from.
How about that?
Yeah, I'm trying to get our guys at Bloomers to understand. It's like, pull the weeds before they go into flower.
That's right.
All right, because once they're pollinated, they may be dropping seed, and you're just going to have to pull the weed from that area anyway.
Yeah.
So again, just pollinator gardens, keep it up.
Keep it up. Yeah.
Everybody, it's a good thing.
It is.
And don't worry about being stung by bees.
No.
They aren't interested. See, they've got half their lifespan. They aren't interested in you.
No,
they need to get back to the hive to keep things going there.
Yeah, they do.
All right, we'll be back in the garden right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Fertilome Succulent Potting Mix with EcoPeat is the perfect ready-to-use potting mix for all your succulents. Fertilome Succulent Potting Mix is a blend of sphagnum peat moss, perlite, and EcoPeat. EcoPeat is a natural wood fiber from peat bogs. When added to Fertilome peat moss, it produces a superior professional substrate with an exceptional ratio of air porosity and water holding capacity. Fertilome Succulent Potting Mix will ensure maximum drainage with ideal water retention. It's simply the best succulent mix on the market. Ask for Fertilome by name at your local garden center. Available at Daniel's Garden Center, Sumneytown Pike, Harleysville, Pennsylvania. Gasper's Home and Garden, 316 Tanyard Road, Richboro, PA. Green Acres Nursery and Garden Center, West County Line Road, Colmar, Pennsylvania. Herben's Garden Center, Chestnut Street, Emmis, Pennsylvania. Laurel Oak Garden Center, Thompson Mill Road, Marlton, New Jersey. The Bird Sanctuary at Bloomer's Home and Garden Center is dedicated to the care and feeding of wild birds. We carry a flock of feeders like the Brome Squirrel Proof Feeder, which has a lifetime guarantee. Brome makes fantastic feeders for frustrating squirrels and feeding songbirds. Bloomer's Bird Sanctuary has a vast selection of wild bird seed, suet, seed cakes, and mealworms. We carry Lyric, Coles, C&S, Pine Tree Farms, and our own line called Bloomer's Blend. Bloomer's Blend Songbird Magnet contains premium black oil sunflower, peanut splits, millet, safflower, and tree nuts. It's sure to attract the most colorful songbirds to your yard. Bloomer's Home and Garden Center is located in Washington Township in Gloucester County, New Jersey. Visit us online at www.bloomers.com. When you come in, ask for Shirley Spurbeck, Bloomer's Wild Bird Specialist. Mention you heard it on Bloomers in the Garden Radio, and we'll give you $10 off a 20-pound bag of Bloomers Blend Songbird Magnet Mix. You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies 1250 AM WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. I'm Len. He's Julio. Aaron and Brett are also with us.
Yes, they are.
They're our silent support.
Silent supporters.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
So the party's over, Brett.
Yeah, it's over, guys.
The party's over.
Yeah.
After this weekend, it's time.
Yeah.
You know what's next, right? Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
You better be ready.
I'm ready for that spring cleaning.
You better be ready. You know, you're not married yet.
But
I'm not ready to give out that Christmas tree.
Yeah, well, you got to get it out. So that's what we're talking about.
That's right.
Christmas trees, it's time to get out your Christmas tree. But we've got some suggestions on how to do it without driving yourself crazy and finding needles sometime this summer. So first order of business, you got to get it out of the stand. And if there's water in the stand, you have to do it without spilling the water that you had in the stand. And if there's water in your stand, you're a good steward of your Christmas tree. Very good. So you got to be careful there. You're going to need a hand to get that up, or just put a ton of towels down and just let the towels soak it up. Also, Christmas tree bag. Did you put your Christmas tree bag underneath your stand?
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too, because that will help contain those needles.
Yeah.
My method, get a great big tarp. You
go.
probably have one in your basement, or you probably have one somewhere. Like if you've done any painting, and I think everybody here has done painting, that there's a tarp that you can use. Just lay it down onto that tarp. Get somebody to take the front, somebody to take the back, walk it outside.
Nice.
And any of those needles that fall off the tree as you're moving it, what'd you do with them, Julio?
Use it as fertilizer.
That's right.
Yeah,
Organic fertilizer
That's right.
for your evergreens.
Yeah, recycle.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect. Now, how about your stand? Your stand look a little rusty.
A little rusty.
Looking a little, I don't know if it's going to make it another year. Let it dry out, sand it down, and go ahead and spray paint it.
It's easy.
It's going to make it another year.
Yeah,
Things, the economy and all of the,
Yep.
you're thinking about all those
DIY.
things like everybody's talking about. There's a recession on. It's coming. So you won't need to replace that stand next year if you go ahead and do a little bit of maintenance on it now.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a tree? You didn't get a tree this
No,
year.
I
You
didn't.
and your brother?
No.
Yeah, bah humbug.
I know.
But I did hear on the news about what it was, a King's Day, or what did you celebrate in Cuba?
Epiphany.
No, it
Three
was
Kings.
Three
Two
Kings.
boys. Yeah,
That's
three
it.
boys. Yeah.
They were talking about Three Kings.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What day is that?
January 6th.
So let's pretend you had a Christmas tree. You wouldn't have to take down your tree until after January 6th.
That's right. Yeah.
Julio,
We didn't have trees in Cuba.
I know you didn't have trees in Cuba.
What
Palm
can I
trees.
tell you? Yeah. Bring a
Well,
palm tree
listen,
in.
if you have a tree skirt like I do, it's probably been a couple of years since I ran it through the wash, and I'm going to put it through the wash, and then any of the sap or anything that's maybe come off of the tree is going to be all ready to go for next year.
Oh, how good.
Most important, recycling, right, Julio?
Right. Recycling, yeah.
So what do?
You call your municipality and ask them if they have a recycle program.
Most
That's what
do.
You need to do. Yeah.
Most
I know
do.
we do.
And that they'll come up, they'll make it into wood chips that they'll use, whether it's around town.
Right.
That it's that's a great thing.
good
Don't
thing,
just
yeah.
throw it into like trash.
You don't want to do that.
Also, branches. Take all the branches off and that, some may be a little crispy, some may be fine, but you can put it over top of those perennials that you have in the ground, and it'll be protection for them. Keep the ground. It's like poor man's mulch, right?
Yeah,
It's free
right.
mulch
Free mulch.
and that it keeps an air layer between the branches because they're usually arched. And when they start to sprout in the spring, you can take them out and remove them. But it's another way to recycle or repurpose it.
That's right.
Also, your branches, depending on your tree, so many perennials need support. And that even things like as simple as peonies, you can whittle some of those branches down and make your own stakes rather than going to buy a package of bamboo stakes.
Yeah.
You've got them right there. Now, also, take all the branches off and use the entire main trunk as a large stake for some of your other climbing plants, like anything from clematis to some of those like crazy grown plants. Like for instance, I had some morning glories that just went berserk.
Oh, my.
Also had moonflower. Moonflower was like 20 foot long. I mean, it took forever.
Great.
So you can absolutely use those as a stake, and that's for me. I thought that was one of the best ideas. But there's also someone named Oscar Morris has a organization in Texas called Canes for Veterans. We highlighted him on a show a year or two ago, and he said, so go ahead, grab a cane, go outside, and you will feel broken because other people will see you as broken. And they make canes for veterans that look cool.
Wow.
So they'll go and they'll carve into them. And there is not there are different areas around the country. I do not know of one in New Jersey, Delaware, New York. In this area, I don't. But out west, they do have them. Right. I encourage you to look to see if there's any organization that's like that. It gives honor to the veterans. And that, again, in Central Texas, there's Jamie Willis, and he started a Canes for Veterans in Central Texas in 2016. And he realized that he wasn't the only veteran that needed a cane. It's sturdy. It's not ugly, and again, it's actually cool the way that they do that. So even if there's it doesn't have to be for veterans. Even if there's someone that that does this, like my brother had a friend from college that was his hobby. That's what he did.
Wow.
And that you have seen it in the office. Because he gave my father one, and I gave it because my father was named Carl Schroeder, and my son is named Carl Schroeder, and that after my father passed, I gave it to my son. Anyway, whatever.
Pretty awesome.
Anyway, but serving the vets, I thought was a great idea.
It is great.
And that again, it's another way. Don't just throw it out. Another thing to do is that it does make a great habitat for birds if you put it in the backyard. It is something as simple as that. So if you don't want it, make sure you recycle it with your town. Don't just throw it in the landfill. All right. Anything to add, Julio?
No, it's pretty amazing what these veterans have come up with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
It's we owe them a lot more than just their service and just the things that they give us when they get home as well. Yeah. All right. Thank you for your service, guys that are listening.
Yeah.
We'll be right back right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Your next houseplant is waiting for you in Bloomer's Home and Garden Center's greenhouse. Bloomers recognizes that houseplant choices are as important to your interior decorating as the fabric on your couch. The right plant, paired with the perfect container, can bring a dynamic change to your home. A houseplant brings life to your world and connects your home's interior to the greater outdoors. Even a small succulent placed on your coffee table has a way of connecting your living room to the Amazon rainforest. How about an air plant in your kitchen? Looking for an indoor flowering plant to add color to your plant palette? Bloomers has a large revolving assortment of flowering beauties. From aglaonemas to ZZ plants, Bloomers Greenhouse is stocked with your next favorite indoor plant. Bloomers carries a large selection of pottery and containers to match your home's decor and make any of your plants more beautiful. Bloomers experts can help you care for your plants and have the fertilizer, insecticides, leaf shine, and specialty soils you need to grow healthy and happy indoor plants. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center's greenhouse and make every room in your home a living room. Visit bloomers.com for more information. That's bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden.
Dreaming of a gorgeous garden? Give your azaleas, rhododendron, blueberries, and evergreens a powerful boost with the #1 acid-loving plant food, Espoma Organic Hollytone. Hollytone is a perfect blend of natural, long-lasting ingredients that nourish plants for stronger roots, faster growth, and bountiful blooms. Plus, it's easy to use and safe for people, pets, and planet. Visit espoma.com for a retailer near you and helpful gardening tips. Espoma, a natural in the garden since 1929.
You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Well, when Len and I discussed the winter solstice and commented on how could ancient cultures know when the winter solstice was without having a calendar, huh, Len?
That's right.
So we found a study from the University of California, and it has the answer.
All right. Now, consider this.
Yes.
Riddle me this, Batman.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So Spain invaded Mexico 1519, and the Aztecs were there in Mexico City.
Right.
They were feeding a city of almost 3 million people.
Wow.
Consider that.
It's,
I mean, as far as
wow.
ancient civilizations go, that's crazy. And that they were able to, back then, produce enough food to be able to bring it in, to feed the people. The largest city in Spain at that time was only 50,000.
That's it. Wow.
The Aztecs needed to understand weather patterns. They needed to know when to plant. They needed to know when to change crops. And they had a calendar that was so precise that it made adjustments even for leap years.
Wow.
So it knew on a daily basis of where they were. And so they basically did have a calendar. So the University of California, Riverside published in the National Academy of Science that they actually used the mountains as a solar observatory, and they had they were keeping track of the sunrise against the peak of the Sierra Nevada mountains.
How about that?
It's good beer too, Sierra Nevada. Yeah, just saying, just saying. Not that I would know. Yeah, whatever. They had a temple that was a point of reference of where the sun rose.
Right.
And it was February 24th where the sun rose at that point of reference, and that's the first day of the Aztec calendar. We need to respect those that came before us.
That's right. They were observing, weren't they? They were looking at every little thing.
They were geniuses.
Yeah.
They were geniuses. So
it's not like us. We use iPhones.
We do, but we're idiots.
I know.
Because if without our iPhone, it's like, oh, my iPhone's dead. What am I going to do? It's like, we're pathetic.
I know.
We're pathetic. And that where here's ancient civilization was producing that kind of quantity of food.
For that amount of people.
I mean,
yeah, it's like it's like Philadelphia. It's 3 million people.
I mean, again,
Wow.
I did you do your research? I have no idea
Yeah,
how
it's
big
about,
Philadelphia
yeah,
is.
it's about 3 mil. That's
Is it?
unless it went down the last couple of years.
I don't know, but the fact is that ancient civilizations, whether it was in Mexico, whether it was in the Middle East, whether it was the Native Americans here, had cultures that got by, and got by where a lot of these modern technology things that we have, where I think that it makes us a little too dependent on our electronic devices.
Right, that break down once in a while.
Yeah. Get out in the garden, get your hands dirty.
That's right.
All right, we'll be back in the garden right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. You know, some of our most frequent questions revolve around organic container gardening for houseplants, annuals, and of course, vegetables. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend organic potting soil is a lightweight soil mixture made with salmon, blueberry, lobster, and other composts, as well as calcium and chitin-rich lobster shells, sphagnum peat, perlite, and kelp meal. It is a great soil. And Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor organic potting soil is rich in organic material, creating lush, disease-resistant plants that require less watering, less feeding. Its rich, dark brown color provides the perfect balance between water retention and drainage needed for healthy plants. Coast of Maine's Bar Harbor Blend organic potting soil is available at these local retailers: Barlow's, Seagirt, New Jersey; Espenshades Garden Centers and Greenhouse, Monton, Pennsylvania; Ashcombs Farm and Greenhouse, Mechanicsburg, PA.
Dreaming of a gorgeous garden? Give your azaleas, rhododendron, blueberries, and evergreens a powerful boost with their #1 acid-loving plant food, Espoma Organic Hollytone. Hollytone is a perfect blend of natural, long-lasting ingredients that nourish plants for stronger roots, faster growth, and bountiful blooms. Plus, it's easy to use and safe for people, pets, and planet. Visit espoma.com for a retailer near you and helpful gardening tips. Espoma, a natural in the garden since 1929.
You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies, 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Did I take your line? No. As this year comes to a close, we can look forward to 2023
Yes.
and make resolutions, which are loose promises.
Come on now, Len.
Yeah.
They got to be.
All right.
Come
So my number one,
Uh-huh.
my number one is to teach Bloomers customers and our listeners how to do their own lawn care, landscape, depth combo pots, anything, so that they can save some money with the looming recession that's coming.
Mm-hmm.
It is something that can be done,
Yes,
and
it can.
it's really services that they can cut back on services. Paying for services.
Services, yeah, that they
and
don't
do it
need to pay
themselves.
for. Right.
Right.
Yeah. So, think differently, folks, as you're going to 2023. And yes, you can do it because, we come to the garden center and we'll teach you how to do these things on your own and, like Len said, save you some money.
Right.
And I tell you what, it'll become a joy in your life because now you're doing it and you see the fruits of that labor.
That's right. And that we do it each week.
Yeah, we do.
I want to reclaim my my lawn.
You do, yeah.
Okay.
That's
I
been
think
on
I
your
established
radar,
that.
right?
I mentioned Melissa and Steve, my daughter and son-in-law. They ripped out all of their shrubs, and
Oh,
now I
wow.
am going to design their landscape.
Oh, wow, that's
Maybe
great.
I'll make them put it in.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah, so
so.
make Danielle's backyard an oasis
Oh, yes.
for the 4th
Yeah.
of July. That she has a party every year, and this
Right.
time that going to make sure.
It looks
It's
really
like,
good.
wow,
huh?
who did all this?
Yeah.
You
And you
know.
did a really great job, by the way.
Thank you.
Starting at this, when did you start, by the way? In the summer?
Well,
Or
it's probably
spring?
June.
June, okay.
It's probably June.
Right.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Came out really nice.
My other resolution is plant my own landscape following the colonial masters of George Washington and Thomas Jefferson.
Wow.
I have a center hall colonial home.
You do.
It is a it's a nice home. It's not brick or anything like that, but it still has that same layout. And I'm going to have more of an English garden look in the front and not rely on shrubs and things. But I tried it and I did a fair job. I'm gonna do it right this time.
Good.
I'm gonna fill my garden passport.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so the Gardens of America, that there is a passport that you can get, and that all of the surrounding areas around Philadelphia, New Jersey, and I think there's even Delaware, that try to visit and fill that garden passport.
Wow.
And one thing is be more social with friends and connecting some relationships that had waned as, and Julio, you can identify, that I had neglected while Debbie was sick for all those years. So,
That's great. Yeah.
but that's it. What's on your list?
Not a whole lot.
Oh, thanks for adding to the show. Hey, Brett, got anything?
I got a few. I have a few things now. One of the things is I do want to spend more time outside, and I didn't do that this year.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't. I spent a lot of time, inside doing,
Okay.
getting the inside painted and things like that. Nothing major, but I did.
But do outside.
Yeah, do more outside this year, and I do need to get started on my right side of the house, my gardening.
Okay.
On that side, which I haven't started yet, and my left side looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. And so, and my backyard needs to be cleaned. I mean, the backyard is something that you really don't do much with.
The backyard is for us.
Yeah.
It's like I almost think that the front yard's for the neighborhood, the backyard's for me.
Yeah. But I've kind of let that go, and I need to focus on cleaning it.
You get Andy out there.
Yeah, that's right.
Get your brother out there. Come on.
I have to give him that shovel.
Yeah.
But and Len, I love perennials, so I'm gonna have I'm gonna be focusing on that this year. I really love perennials and flowers. I mean, do a little bit more flowers this year.
Yeah. I mean, that's like that colonial look is going to
Yeah,
be that.
that's great. And as far as personal grow, I need to grow spiritually more so than I have, and simplify my life a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's enough.
Good advice for everybody. All right. As we ponder that,
Yes.
we've got to go to break. And we'll be right back right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. 1880, and we'll see you in the garden. The Bird Sanctuary at Bloomer's Home and Garden Center is dedicated to the care and feeding of wild birds. We carry a flock of feeders like the Brome Squirrel-Proof Feeder, which has a lifetime guarantee. Brome makes fantastic feeders for frustrating squirrels and feeding songbirds. Bloomer's Bird Sanctuary has a vast selection of wild bird seed, suet, seed cakes, and mealworms. We carry Lyric, Coles, C&S, Pine Tree Farms, and our own line called Bloomer's Blend. Bloomer's Blend Songbird Magnet contains premium black oil sunflower, peanut splits, millet, safflower, and tree nuts. It's sure to attract the most colorful songbirds to your yard. Bloomer's Home and Garden Center is located in Washington Township in Gloucester County, New Jersey. Visit us online at www.bloomers.com. When you come in, ask for Shirley Spurbeck, Bloomer's Wild Bird Specialist. Mention you heard it on Bloomers in the Garden Radio, and we'll give you $10 off a 20-pound bag of Bloomer's Blend Songbird Magnet Mix.
Bloomers in the Garden is brought to you each week by Bloomers Home and Garden Center. Bloomers is an award-winning garden center just 20 minutes from Philadelphia. Bloomers has been providing expert advice turning brown thumbs green for over 30 years. At Bloomers, we want you to ask us every question, even if you think it's silly. We share information in a friendly, non-judgmental way that is meant to teach and spread the joy of gardening. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center in Washington Township, Gloucester County. For directions, go to bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden.
You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or hear us on the radio each weekend. Every Saturday morning, Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley, first at 8 a.m. on Talk 860 WWDB and again at 9 a.m. on AM 800 WTMR. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard through the New York tri-state area on Classic Oldies 1250 a.m. WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden.
See me and Julio down by the schoolyard.
Julio.
Wow.
Well,
Wow, goodness.
a year is ending, Julio.
Yes.
You know,
2023.
We want to thank all our listeners out there. Thank you, all you callers.
Yes.
And
thank you
those
very
that
much.
didn't call. We want to hear from you.
That's right.
That's your New Year's resolution, and
Yeah.
that call Bloomers in the Garden. We want to hear from you.
Did you know you can listen to Bloomers in the Garden anytime, by the way? Search for us on your favorite podcasting platform or go to bloomers.com and visit the radio tab.
Happy New Year, Aaron. Happy New Year,
Happy
Brett.
New Year.
Thank you
folks.
guys for all that you do.
Yes.
You make us look good. We appreciate it. And we'll see everybody next year
Yes.
in the garden.
See you in the garden.